What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cinema Trip Reviews. I am Wyatt, and today on the show, I'm going to be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. If you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Cinema Trip Reviews. Also, drop in and leave us a good review wherever you get your podcasts. Really helps us get out there to a lot more people, and I really appreciate it. So for those who've been following the channel for a while, may know that I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. I'm actually a really big fan of course, the original. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's one of my favorites of all time. Actually, really enjoy Lost World as well. I think it's the best sequel out of all of them so far. I mean, the first Jurassic World's okay. I do like that one, but man, Lost World just holds a special place in my heart. I do have a review coming for that at some point down the line. But the rest of it has been kind of a mixed bag, of course, with JP3, the atrocious Jurassic World trilogy. I like the first one, but man, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion really dropped off. So I didn't really have high hopes when this one was originally announced. But then I heard, Gareth Edwards, is attached as director. Godzilla 2014 isn't too bad. I actually kind of like that movie in a way. I mean, it's nowhere near, the top tier Godzillas or anything like that. And Rogue One has definitely grown on me over the years. I didn't see the one that he released within the past couple years, that sci-fi movie. It just didn't really pique my interest. I did hear that it was pretty good though, so maybe I'll have to check that out at some point. Gareth Edwards is directing. And with the news that they're bringing it back to an island, it's not going to be on the mainland, dinosaurs, roaming, the United States or, the Earth somewhere else. And that was really one of the most, the least interesting aspects of, those last couple Jurassic World movies after the first Jurassic World and everything. I just didn't have any interest with, the dinosaurs on the mainland. I liked it kind of being contained to the islands and such and, within the jungles, and you never know what's going to happen. I like the horror aspect of it. After the first trailer and, some of the hearsay going on about maybe they wanted it to be a little, I guess, scarier. They wanted to introduce some more horror elements back into the series, from what I understand. I guess even Spielberg, that was one of the notes that he gave to Gareth Edwards, is like, try to make it scary again, try to, induce some fear into some people. And, yeah, none of that was present. I didn't get any of that whatsoever. There wasn't a single scary moment within this movie. It didn't even seem like there was certain it didn't even seem like they were trying to make certain scenes scary whatsoever. I mean, in fact, this is probably the safest Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movie you could possibly make. Nothing about this is groundbreaking or special. I mean, everything that you've in this movie is something that we've seen previously. And I understand, we're 7 movies deep into the Jurassic franchise. I understand it's kind of hard to come up with some new fresh stuff. But man, this is bare bones writing, bare bones storytelling. Everything about this movie screams that it was rushed into production and rushed to get it out there to the masses. And yeah, I mean, it's getting a ton of, money through the box office. People are going to see it and whatever, and which is obviously, it's going to guarantee another sequel at some point. But the, box office numbers and all that doesn't dictate how good a movie is. I mean, there's a ton of bad movies and trash movies that have done really well in the box office. For anybody that watched my 2025 movie preview here towards the beginning of the year, this was one of the movies I was kind of excited for, just, coming off of the hype. Gareth Edwards is a competent director. It seemed, they brought David Coep, the dude that helped write the first couple movies, and he's been, involved with some hits over the years and everything. They brought him back as a writer and everything. It seemed like things were kind of lining up to make a somewhat decent Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movie, kind of return it to its form. I mean, obviously it's not going to be near the heights of the original Jurassic Park, or hell, even Lost World, in my opinion, because I really like that movie, except for, that third act in San Diego, which I don't want to talk about. That'll be left for the review. It's not like I had high hopes for the movie, but I was kind of being a little cautiously optimistic, because, I mean, anything could be better than Dominion, right? After watching this movie, Universal really needs to learn about these trailers, because, I mean, even that first initial trailer that they came out with months ago shows you damn near everything within the movie. All the exciting stuff within the movie was shown in the trailer, in that first initial trailer itself. And man, I've complained about this in other videos, so I won't go on a tangent. But I mean, this has got to stop at some point. Either that, or I just got to stop watching trailers or making trailer reactions, because it's starting to ruin movies at this point. I mean, I understand that you want to show some exciting stuff, but at the same time, man, you can't be showing everything that you have. And that's damn near everything in this movie. I mean, the Spinosaurus is attacking the boat. The T-Rex raft scene, that one is being blown up the most. The Velociraptor fake out where it's actually the Mutodon, stalking them within that little convenience store or whatever. Quetzalcoatlus attack, them trying to get the embryos up in the cliffs and those look like a Mayan ruins type of thing. And of course the D-Rex that you see. All of this was shown in the trailer, and those are really the main big set pieces, big, dinosaur scenes of the movie. There really isn't much else in the movie as far as that goes than what they showed in the trailer. And that is, extremely disappointing. I mean, the Spinosaurus is, attacking a boat. We have seen that before. We haven't seen the T-Rex river raft scene. That was in the original Jurassic Park book. It was supposed to be in the original movie. They didn't have the budget for it. That was something they were been wanting to introduce for quite a long time. They finally did it in this one. I believe, to me, that was definitely one of the best scenes of the movie. Probably the most, if you want to say, tense scene of the movie, the most exciting scene of the movie. The Quetzalcoatlus, which is easily the best kill in the movie. There really isn't too many kills in the movie, especially ones that are really super exciting, kind of off-screen type of stuff. But that one was definitely kind of the coolest one. By the way, I'm definitely going to be going into some spoilers. I know I don't normally do that for new movies, but for this one, I'm going to make an exception just because it's Jurassic Park. I mean, to be honest, this movie is very predictable. I mean, you could pretty much, without watching it, kind of guess who's going to live, who's going to die within the movie. And that's kind of one of my other biggest nitpicks about the movie is not only is it pretty damn predictable, but it plays it so safe. It plays it extremely safe. And it doesn't make you feel that any of the main characters that you're dealing with are in any sort of danger of dying or anything like that. You know who's going to be making it out at the end of the movie, definitely by who it follows. You do have certain scenes with these dinosaurs, like attacks or them coming across the dinosaurs, but at no given point did I really feel like, oh, they're in danger, something's going to happen to these people. It's just not super exciting whatsoever when you know that these characters are going to be living by the end of the movie anyway. They're going to be getting off the island. That there's really no stakes within the movie whatsoever. And that's really what kind of lowers the bar as far as excitement goes. Probably one of the biggest disappointments of the movie is what they've really been trying to push onto us since it was announced and everything. The whole D-Rex, the whole Rancor kind of mixed with a xenomorph, type monster that you see in a lot of the promotional materials, a lot of the trailers and such. And boy, is it such a disappointment, man. I mean, you really, out of the whole movie, you probably get 5 minutes of screen time. And it doesn't do anything special by any means. I mean, none of the mutants in the movie really do anything special. I mean, the D-Rex, the Mutodon that we see towards the end of the movie, which is kind of like a Quetzalcoatlus or like a pterodactyl mixed with a raptor type of thing. It has wings and like this big like turkey neck and stuff and a beak. It's not scary whatsoever, and it doesn't really do anything different from a raptor. It barely even uses its wings in the movie that it has. You see it in one scene, and that's about it. And it kind of goes the same with the D-Rex. It doesn't really do anything special. You easily could have replaced the D-Rex with the normal ass T-Rex and nothing would have changed within the movie. Similar with the Mutodon at the end. You could have easily replaced that with the Velociraptors and it wouldn't have made a damn difference within the movie. And I have been seeing over the past week or so, there has been a lot of studio interference within this movie. From what I understand, not sure if this is, fact, so take this with a grain of salt, but I guess the whole Mutodon towards the end of the movie, that was originally going to be the Velociraptors. I mean, you even have Jonathan Bailey's character, Dr. Loomis, which is fucking crazy. They used a Halloween, reference, like Dr. Loomis within a Jurassic Park type thing. But his character, Dr. Loomis, in like one of the first trailers says, yeah, they're raptors, they're Velociraptors or whatever.
Please don't say they're raptors. They're raptors.
And that never even happens. I mean, the Velociraptors, they got punked. They got done dirty big time in this movie. Much worse than I would even say the T-Rex in Jurassic Park 3. Everybody's been talking about that for years, how the T-Rex gets punked by the Spinosaurus. Man, the Velociraptors got done so damn dirty in this movie. They only have like 10 seconds of screen time, and they get absolutely destroyed by this Mutodon, who I don't understand how this motherfucker is like a threat whatsoever. It's not, it doesn't seem threatening whatsoever. I feel like a pack of velociraptors could take these things down easily. You only see the velociraptors for like 7 seconds, and there's only like two of them, and you barely get a glimpse at them because they're in like the background. As a velociraptor fan, immediately hated that aspect of it. Like, you couldn't have had added a couple little other scenes with the velociraptors or anything. Like, come on, dude. Or just in place of the Mutodon, because the Mutodon doesn't do anything special or it's nothing that the Velociraptor couldn't have done, The reason that they were making these genetic mutations of these dinosaurs is because the people that were going to the parks originally were starting to get bored of the, normal dinosaurs. So they wanted to create genetically modified mutant dinosaurs. That's where you get like the Indominus Rex and all that from like the Jurassic World trilogy and such. And I mean, that's immediately something I just don't buy whatsoever, because I mean, you have people going to zoos nowadays going to see lions, tigers, bears, and all this other shit, penguins and stuff that have been around for so damn long, and people do not get sick of it. Imagine if you add dinosaurs into the mix, who nobody's ever seen a real life dinosaur, and they all, suddenly come back and they have these theme parks around them. Nobody's going to get sick of dinosaurs. Nobody's going to get that sick of dinosaurs that you need to go make mutants of them and everything. If you're going to add these mutants in here, at least have them do something special that none of those other dinosaurs can do, that a T-Rex can't do, that a Velociraptor can't do. I mean, a Velociraptor can't fly, the Mutodon can fly, but you only see it in the one scene. It doesn't really do anything else the rest of the whole damn movie. And the D-Rex is just big, and it has 6 arms, and you barely get to see it use those arms, in a unique way or anything like that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just incredibly disappointing. So, I mean, as far as the plot goes, because I'm just sitting here tearing this movie apart. I mean, I didn't even get to the plot as of yet. I mean, the plot that you see, the very basic bare bones plot is all the dinosaurs, throughout the mainland that you saw through that Jurassic World trilogy are pretty much dying off. They're all pretty much gone because they cannot survive within, that climate. A lot of them are moving or surviving, I guess, near the equator and such. They're pretty much dying off everywhere, and a company has found out that some of these genes within the dinosaurs that you can find from only living adult dinosaurs, if they collect them, they can make a vaccine or this medicine that can cure like heart disease. And they needed the samples from 3 species, a Quetzalcoatlus, a Mosasaurus, and I don't even remember the other one. It looks like, you see it in the trailer, it looks like a huge brontosaurus, and it has like fins on it and those really long tails that look like they're just kind of floating and suspended in air, and it looks like they can become whips or something. It's kind of trying to recreate that scene from the original Jurassic Park where, they move in herds. They do move in herds. And, they're witnessing those dinosaurs for the first time. But, in this time, it's played up way too much, to a hammy effect, really, by Jonathan Bailey. It's a little too much. The director could have told him to tone it down a little bit, because it was getting a little, ridiculous. And that's kind of the thing, is they try to shoehorn some references and kind of maybe recreate certain scenes from the original movie and stuff, and they just don't work whatsoever. There's just nothing unique about them. They're kind of half-assed in a way. And I'm not sure if this is, Gareth Edwards' fault. I mean, the cinematography in the movie is actually really good, and the effects are very good for the most part as far as the CGI for the dinosaurs. I really wish they would utilize some damn practical effects here and there. I mean, that's what really made those original movies great, is the use of practical effects, but everybody's insisting on using CGI nowadays. But I gotta give it credit, the CGI did look pretty good for the most part. There are some mad scaling issues, though. During that T-Rex river raft scene, the T-Rex seems to be huge at certain points, and then it kind of shrinks a little bit at certain points. And especially towards the end of the movie, the D-Rex ends up becoming like humongous, like a 2-story, like tall building, humongous. And then it kind of shrinks down a little bit smaller. Not really sure what the scaling issues were, or maybe it was me. I don't know. Maybe let me know if I was wrong in this, hypothesis or whatever. But the scaling issues as far as the D-Rex and the T-Rex at certain points were absolutely crazy to me. Overall, the cinematography was pretty damn good. It was great for most parts. I really liked them filming in what looked like a real jungle and stuff. Really dug that. But the overall storytelling and writing in it was very, very lackluster and very rushed. It didn't really seem like a David Coep script whatsoever. So I'm not sure if it was him or Gareth Edwards or, some of the, the suits. I'm not sure what was going on there, or if there was a ton of interference, but Yeah, I mean, this movie was extremely sloppy. The company has this idea to get these genes from these dinosaurs so they can make this heart disease, medicine to try to cure it. So they enlist the help of some ex-spec ops or mercenaries led by Scarlett Johansson's character, who is Zora Bennett, which is kind of an interesting name, actually. And you have Jonathan Bailey, who plays Dr. Loomis, and Mahershala Ali's character, Duncan, probably one of the best characters in the movie. He's actually the only one that kind of has a little bit of depth to them, which really isn't saying much given everybody else. But they enlist this group of like mercenaries and whatever to go out to this island, which is strictly prohibited from going to. It's damn near illegal because of all those dinosaurs and everything. And another little thing was, like, in the trailer, they said this was like an operation or like a third island for the original Jurassic Park to develop these mutated dinosaurs and whatever, and everything went wrong. This island is kind of designated for the mess ups, I guess. But that is really not the case. It wasn't the original Jurassic Park. It was for Jurassic World. And that's another thing. It was like with the Raptors quote in the original trailer, it was like, it seems like over the course of time, they were kind of changing the story elements and what they wanted to include in this movie. Like, that's part of the messiness of it. It seems like the studios and even the director or writers didn't know what they wanted to do, even when they were making it. Or after they were done, they were trying to change some things. I don't know. It's all a mess. And during this mission of these mercs going to this island to get these genes, you're introduced to the aspect of the movie which I hated probably the most, which is the family aspect of it. You have a father and two daughters. One is probably like late teens or something. The other one is like a very little girl, maybe like 10 or 12. I don't know. The oldest daughter's boyfriend is with them on this boating trip, and the boyfriend is completely useless. He's lazy and he's kind of a dickhead, and the daughter puts up with it, and she's pretty much a bitch throughout the whole movie. And the dad it just kind of deals with it and tries to be a leader at certain points. The only one that's actually not too bad is the little girl, because she doesn't really say much throughout the course of the movie. I don't understand Jurassic Park's, reasoning for wanting to insert a child or kids within every single movie of this franchise. You literally can't go one movie with just having like this Spec Ops Mercs team going to this island to get these genes, like it's some type of mission from aliens. Like, that would have been awesome. That way you can kind of do whatever you want. You can have all these people, getting plucked up and killed by dinosaurs here and there. But you're introducing a family that's immediately like, oh, yeah, none of these people are going to die. Like, obviously the little girl's not going to die. They're probably not going to kill the sister. Maybe the boyfriend. The best chance out of all of them to die is the boyfriend, and you're just waiting for it, and of course it never comes. And then, of course, the dad, you know that he's not going to die. My biggest complaint, other than just most of the family just not being likable, the family doesn't really affect the story whatsoever. I mean, them being there, if you remove them from the movie, it doesn't change anything whatsoever. It adds no impact to the story or anything like that. So I just don't understand the reasoning to have it in there, other than just to be like, oh, let's insert kids into there so the kids can go to the movies and have someone they can relate with or something. I don't know. And then you add the aspect of Dolores, which is like this little tiny baby dinosaur. It's pretty much the baby Yoda of the Jurassic Park universe now. It's strictly there to sell toys to kids. That's all it's there for, and it just tags along with them throughout the whole movie. They even take it off the island with them at the end of the movie, which is pretty much a death sentence, because like I said, any of the dinosaurs that's not near the equator or whatever, they're all dying off. So them taking it back to where, they originally came from or live, it's probably not going to live too long. And with this family throughout the movie, they try to insert some, more emotional moments that just really fall flat. And they even try to do it with, some of the mercenaries at a certain point, like Scarlett Johansson's character and the character of Duncan in the movie, played by Mahershala Ali. His worked maybe a little bit better. You think there was going to be maybe a payoff, because he talks about, him and his girlfriend or wife aren't together anymore. So he doesn't, something happened with his son. He's not really seeing his son anymore. So you kind of assume that maybe something's going to happen with the family, and then he's going to have to step up and maybe take care of like the little girl or the kids or something. That never really happens. There's a couple moments you think are going to be foreshadowed, and come up later in the movie, and they just never do. I mean, specifically, there was one that comes to mind is, Dr. Loomis' character, played by Jonathan Bailey, talks, before they even go on this mission, was like, well, I've never been shot at before. And she's like, well, there's a first time for everything. And you think like, oh, maybe something's going to happen within the movie where he's actually going to end up getting shot at. You think it's maybe going to be the antagonist of the movie. Nope. That never happens. And even the antagonist of the movie, the suit, the big corporate guy, the guy that even hires them to do this mission, he's not even that much of a bad guy in the movie. Everybody treats him like he's as a Bond villain or something by the end of the movie. But the worst thing he did was just not rescue the one daughter from falling over the boat. He tried to stop her from making an emergency call to the mainland to come rescue them because he didn't want anybody to know about their mission because it's fucking illegal. And with the Spinosaurus, messing with the boat, she ends up falling over and she's holding on, and he doesn't rescue her. And hey, he could have easily said, hey, I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to risk my life to go out there or whatever. It's not my kid. We just rescued them. But that's literally the worst thing that the guy does. He just doesn't rescue the girl, and they treat him like he's the damn Antichrist by the end of the movie. And yeah, he's a corporate guy, and he's going to try to make some money off of the medicine that they make, but they're making a ton of assumptions as far as Jonathan Bailey's character and Scarlett Johansson, because he's trying to convince her, like, we can get all these genes and just like sell them to other companies so we can make it available for everybody, because this company that hired us is going to go out there and make, they're going to make it and they're going to upcharge the hell out of it. So people have to pay a ton of money to get it, which, yeah, I understand. In the modern world, that's probably going to happen. But that corporate dude never mentioned anything about that other than just saying like, hey, yeah, we could probably make a lot of money off this, but we're going to be helping a lot of people anyway. And that's really the extent of him being a bad guy. The most bad thing the worst thing that he does is just let this girl fall off the boat. And they just try to make him out to be this terrible dude by the end of the movie, and you just don't really get that whatsoever, dude. And the writing in it is just so damn sloppy and rushed. There's no depth to any of these characters. There's no depth to really anything within this movie. It's all very bare bones. Like, yeah, we're going to this place, dinosaur attack. We're going to this place, dinosaur attack. We're going to this place, dinosaur attack. And none of the places they really go to are really unique whatsoever, like we've seen in some of the other movies. I mean, even through the other Jurassic World movies, you have some pretty unique locations. In this, you really don't really have anything. You have the open water on the boat with the Spinosaurus. I guess you can kind of say the kind of Mayan type temple where the Quetzalcoatlus is. You really don't really see too much of that though during that whole thing. And the whole facility at the end, you barely even get to see much of it. You see that convenience store, and then you see the tunnels beneath it, and that's about it. There's really not much that's interesting about the set pieces. The most interesting aspect of it is the jungle they shot in. But then again, it's just a jungle, and you don't really have too many crazy scenes within that jungle or anything like that, which you could have incorporated in. They talk about them being hunted and stuff, but you don't really have any creepy or stalking scenes or anything like that. You do have the same scene recreated like 3 different times in the movie of a dinosaur behind them, and then they turn around and it's gone, and then there's it pops up again. But I mean, it's literally the same shot like 3 different times with 3 different dinosaurs. It's not really anything unique about it whatsoever. I think there could have been a lot of, instances where they could have gone pretty crazy with it, as far as, maybe other people dying, or, I understand there's not going to be a ton of gore in a PG-13 movie, so I'm not expecting that. But you could have came up with some more unique kills within the movie. You could even came up with some more tense, suspenseful, type atmospheric things of them, of being hunted within the jungle. And they just didn't really utilize that whatsoever. And that's what I'm saying is it felt very safe, and I mean, they're making a ton of money, so I guess it worked in the long run. But I mean, the whole movie just felt shallow. It felt, it felt hollow. These characters weren't developed or fleshed out whatsoever. You don't really care what happens to them. I mean, realistically, you don't think anything's going to happen to them in the first place. Obviously, I mean, they're being put in danger, but all these characters are going to be safe. The only characters that really die are the people you don't hear from whatsoever that are, on the mission. These red shirts, as they call them, Star Trek or whatever. The red shirts that are on the mission, they're going to be the ones that die. The people that barely talk within the movie that are just kind of background characters. None of the main group of characters within the movie die. And I mean, not only that, but the writing as far as these characters, if you're going to include the family, have something for them to do. Maybe have someone die. I'm not saying you have to have the kids die or anything like that, but have the father, have the boyfriend, do something, have some stakes here, grow some balls. I mean, this is supposed to be a tense movie about dinosaurs hunting people, or, the threat of dinosaurs hunting people or killing people, and it's really not there. It I don't know, it just baffles my mind that they were just totally cool with, green lighting this script and getting it out as fast as possible. The studios know it's a Jurassic Park movie. There's really no other dinosaur movies that are being made other than Jurassic Park. Butts are going to be in the seats regardless of how the movie actually is. I don't think that at this point, Universal or, the studios really care about the quality of the movie. It's more so about making the money. And as long as they're making money off the franchise, they're going to just greenlight whatever the hell they want to put out there. And it's not going to matter to them, the quality of it. Even though I'm not sure how many unique stories you can come up with Jurassic Park on these islands and such, but I still think there's some stories to be told. And I mean, to me, you could even go back, man. I still want to see that story of maybe a team going in and trying to extract that Barbasol can from the original movie. I would love to see like a movie set within the 90s going back to these islands and stuff. I don't need to see these stories set within the modern day or anything like that. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of unique stuff that they could have utilized. And I mean, I heard about before the movie came out, them possibly using bits and pieces of the Lost World book and stuff. And I guess maybe as a stretch, you can kind of see that here and there. But yeah, I wouldn't say that's true whatsoever. Especially with, Steven Spielberg saying like, yeah, try to bring horror back into the franchise or whatever. Yeah, that was a lie, because there's no horror in this movie. There's barely any suspense within the movie because, there's no threat of any of these characters being killed off. I mean, it's the safest Jurassic Park movie you could probably make. And it's easily the most mediocre out of all of them. I mean, I don't like Jurassic Park 3 by any means, but I think I'd rather watch Jurassic Park 3 than this one again. If you're a huge Jurassic Park fan, I guess I would say go to the theaters and see this. But for anybody else, say if you're just a casual fan of the movies, or if you just want to watch a dinosaur movie, wait till it hits streaming. This one doesn't add really anything to the series, especially as far as lore is concerned. It really doesn't add too much lore to the series or anything like that. I definitely think this movie had some promise to it. I think there were some things there that could have made it special if they would have kind of utilized them more or kind of fleshed some things out. It could have made this movie somewhat good, or one of the better Jurassic Park movies in the series and everything. But I think this movie would have done better with a couple extra rewrites of the script, really, or maybe send it to another writer. But yeah, a couple extra rewrites of this movie or revises would have been nice for this. It would have helped out in the long run, because man, it seems like a first draft. It seems like this movie was just completely rushed all over. So man, I do not recommend this movie. Jurassic World Rebirth, not that great. Not that great. I mean, go back and rewatch the original classic like I do every year. Go watch Lost World. I mean, some people are conflicted between Lost World and JP3. I'm a huge Lost World fan. It's right there below Jurassic Park, because nothing's going to be Jurassic Park to me. But yeah, Jurassic World Rebirth is nothing special. You're not really missing anything if you don't watch it. But that is the review for this week. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Cinema Trip Reviews. Also, drop in, leave us a good review wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us get the show out there to a lot more people, and I really appreciate it. This is Cinema Trip Reviews, and I'll see everybody next time.